Good morning, Patriots. JT here, Serenity Farms prepping. It's planting day, or rather, transplanting day. These seeds have gone for about 2 weeks. I got tomatoes, I got lettuces, I got spinach, I got broccoli, I got zucchini, and spaghetti squash. And down there I have black beans and green beans, which are going in my buckets. But most of you don't have the luxury of having a greenhouse or 2 or 3. You may live in an apartment, but you can do this. This is called the crack key system. I showed you last year, but I'm going to show you again because it is critical. Okay, if you have a front back porch or a place to set totes, I got 6 of these from Wally World with lids, $8 each. They're probably 12 or 13 now. I had leftover food grade styrofoam left from some other projects I was doing, so I cut 6 holes in each one, and I can have 36 plants. This is food grade. This is not your typical sheet white insulation with the foil backing. That probably won't kill you, but I just happen to have this laying around, so I used it. You can cut a hole in the lids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But for purposes, 6 holes. Fill your tote with 6 gallons of water up to the handle mark. Otherwise, it will leak out. Those are holes for hinges. Okay. Now, here's a little lettuce. See that little tiny root ball hanging off the bottom? That's enough. It goes in a net pot. This net pot is touching the water. Just barely. That's enough to feed the plant. Notice there is a 1/2 inch of net pot between the bottom of the plant and the top. That is for air to get in there so they don't drown. In 30 days, this plant will be a head of lettuce. I can pick leaves off it and eat them. It will grow back in another 2 weeks. I can pick leaves off it again. It will grow back one more time, but not the same, and you'll have to pull it out of there. 6 heads of lettuce, 6 spinach, 6 arugula, 6 kale, your herbs and spices, your dill, your cilantro, your parsley, your basil, your lavender, your thyme. 6 of them, no problem. You could do a lot more than that if you were doing herbs. You could actually do holes in between. They don't take up a lot of water. If you're going to do strawberries, only do 4. Do them in the 4 corners. Once you fill this with water the first time, if you're only going to grow those heads to maturity and pull them within 30 or 40 days, you shouldn't have to add any more water. That should be it. As the water goes down, the root balls grow and follow it down. I will use each one of these plants, heads of lettuce, 3 times. So I will be refilling the water periodically. You don't have to do that, but it's recommended because it's going to produce for 60 to 90 days for you. Okay, so you've got to get doing this. If you have a porch, a big windowsill, it needs 6 to 8 hours of light per day. Lettuce, kale, arugula, spinach, that stuff is extremely hardy, grows well, just needs the water. I barely even use any nutrients. They just like water. But if you want to use nutrients, here's the one I use from General Hydroponics, Maxi Grow 10 514. It's a powder. The directions are there. You add a scoop as recommended to the number of gallons of water. I will put 3 scoops in 6 gallons of water, and I won't add any more till all the water's gone. Just don't seem to need to. They live just on water just fine. I'm using rainwater, a lot of nutrients in that. Your city water, it ain't going to kill them, but there's nothing in it. Nothing good. Okay, now, another just as serious situation. There, sorry about that. As you know, Congress, the Senate, and the pedophile in chief are arguing over raising the debt ceiling, forfeiting on the debt. What happens if there's no agreement? The U.S., we've been broke for years anyway. The magical, mystical money printing machine is pretty close to running out of ink. All by design. So here's what happens if we default on the debt. And by defaulting on the debt, that is external and internal debts. Okay? As we speak, other countries have been demanding repayment for the debts we owe them, meaning they bought our debt and they were promised payments and interest. Well, they know that our dollar is worthless. You see every other country. You've got the BRICS project, Project Sandman. They're all getting off the dollar. One, they're trying to collapse us and help us along, because a lot of them are in on it. And 2, they know that the U.S. dollar, as the petrodollar and the world's reserve currency, is done. And these countries are very happy to see us fail, because you know what comes after that. All right, so they're demanding gold and silver, and of course, the powers that be, they don't have it. So there will be other items offered up at our expense to those countries. Okay, so if the debt's defaulted, then your entitlement programs cease, because everything will cease. So that's the internal. That will quickly lead to a summer of love type situation. Rioting, looting, burning, assaulting, murdering, all the stuff that libtard idiots do. But that'll be a lot more people than them this time. This will quickly introduce a CBDC and UBI and smart city, and everyone needs to move and see what it's all designed for. Now, the other problem is, even if we don't default, print more money, what country in their right mind would buy unsustainable debt knowing they never will be paid back? Would you? If you have a friend that you've loaned money to 10 times and they never paid you back, you loaned a buddy $100 and he couldn't come up with it, so he said, but I got this mountain bike, I'll give you that. You took it. Okay, wasn't what you wanted, but you got something back for what you gave him, and you loaned it to him because you could afford to do it. So a few months later, he comes back, wants to borrow $200, so you loan it to him, and a couple months later, gives you whatever, song and dance, he can't pay you back. But he's got a lawnmower and Xbox system, and You don't need either one of them, but you got a nephew that could use the Xbox, and you can sell the lawnmower to the kid down the street so you do it. So a year later, he comes asking for more money, and finally you have to say, no, this isn't working. I'm not making anything. I wasn't a loan shark. I didn't expect to make money on you, but I did expect to receive back the amount I had loaned you in a timely manner. Well, every other country has been basically extorted by the U.S. regimes throughout the years by using a petrodollar. Oh, we'll protect your country. We'll stop other countries from bombing you if you just sell oil only using the petrodollar. Right, Saudi Arabia? Well, they're the ones who started Project Sandman. They've seen the writing on the wall. So, we're kind of screwed either way because no one's going to buy our debt after June 1st if we print more money, and we're broke if we don't print more money. Remember, the printing money is only putting off the inevitable. We all know that the collapse had to happen. They're rushing it along. So, what will happen if there's a default is all banks, anybody, anywhere that you have money, like the useless dollar, anywhere that you have that, those places are going to claim force majeure, aka act of God. Now we know this isn't an act of God. This was the act of devils doing this. They have known for years what they're doing to cause this collapse. And you know why it's coming. There is no food, no water, no fuel, no fertilizer, no heat for the unforeseeable future. Everything that's happened in the last 3 years with our infrastructure has been designed to get us where we're at now. No one is coming to save you. Have you heard one politician from the UNIPARTY talk about the fact that there is no food, no clean water, no fuel, no fertilizer, and going to be no heat? No, and you won't. Why is that? The Q-tards, they're still living in that dream that the white hats are going to roll in. Hey, maybe they do. But there's still no food, no fuel, no heat, no clean water. The land is poisoned for years. Where's their plan? They don't have one. That's why they don't bring it up. And if you ask them about it, they are vile, disgusting. Oh, trust the plan. I trust the plan. I trust the plan I have. You better have one too. We are screwed by the end of the month. There's no sense pussyfooting around it. All those plants I have are heirloom and GMO, and they are all going to have seeds. Seeds and veggies are going to be my new money. Lots of barter and trade going on. I planted way more than I need because I know what's coming. Like, share, subscribe, comment while we can. Well, for now, Jake T, signing out.